Welcome back to That Gameplays Live, everybody. How are you all doing on this fine Saturday? Did you start your day, like with the Saturday morning cartoons and the Fruit Loops that come with the cool little toy on the inside or the bendy straw? Now I'm kind of hungry. Yeah, okay, maybe I need to stop recording these around the time I get hungry. Anyways, welcome back to That Gameplays Live, everybody. We got some big stories here today. The folks over at Grand Theft Auto are trying to charge like a buttload of money for a brand new video game, and they seem to be trying to turn this into the industry standard, which means your wallet is not going to be very happy by the end of this conversation. We'll have more on that. Today is also the 40th anniversary of the Nintendo Entertainment System's release in the USA. So we'll definitely be talking a bit about some memories on that. And there's also some alleged news over from the folks at PlayStation about an alleged release date for the brand new console. Yeah, we got a lot in store here today. But everyone, I am in a really good spirits. Not just because I'm seeing all these wonderful, wonderful people in the chat, such as Juliet, good to see you as always. But once again, we have the return of my wonderful co-host of this show, the man, the bearded legend himself, Culture Casino.
Hey everybody, having a great weekend. I hope I am. I've done a lot of physical activity outside, which is something that makes me happy. But now I'm doing physical activity inside. I'm here to share with you amazing news and some not so amazing news, and some reasons to think that Microsoft might already be on fire.
Oh yeah, but I'm a little distracted. My head's a little distracted here, Culture, because before we even get into Xbox, I'm picturing you. Are you like one of those like lumberjacks with, like the shotgun arms, really jacked?
I'm a lumberjack and I'm okay. Yeah.
Whoa, we're getting good entertainment on this channel. Yeah, I think that's worth a few supers right there.
Yeah, well,
but,
hey, we have a much bigger man. Bigger man on the way.
I'm starting to realize I surround myself with some very strong individuals. So if I'm ever in trouble with the mafia, I feel like I'm a very lucky man. So we have the one and only Kevin Apollo. How you doing, man?
He's muted.
Kevin, you're muted. You sound like Culture. You're muted.
It's my homage to my good friend Culture.
That's right. I did 3 minutes of muted today on my stream, so that was special.
When I was a gym manager, I once helped out a man whose name was Tony, and Tony was a very tough man.
Kevin, you're going to have to get closer to your mic, brother. Your volume. There you go.
Oh, what's going on? I don't know what to do with this thing. This didn't do this when I used this when I was in Pennsylvania. I don't know what I did.
That's true.
I don't know what I did wrong, but I'll figure it out. But Tony was a very big man with a very hot temper, and when I took care of him, he told me, "Hey, bud, you're good people. If you ever needed me to, handle someone for you, just let me know."
Man, he had the accent. That's amazing stuff. Holy cow! I'm picturing somebody that's friends with Marvin right now. He got little
Kevin,
crooked nose.
With that the temporary mic you got for like remote whatever, it looks like I'm in like a seminar right now. You're about to give me financial freedom.
I love it.
That. Like
I love it. I think that's a new look for Kevin. I'm gonna tell you right now.
Before we get into this show,
he doesn't need the mic to be the genius on this show. We are all in awe of Kevin Apollo. So, but I'm looking forward to today's stories because they're mostly bad.
Oh, it's there's a lot of there's sadness, there's problems, there's companies being cheap. Oh my goodness, did I not get a single? Okay, guys, I got one happy story today. One happy story. So I hope you all were in good spirits coming into this one, or else I'm gonna get a tissue endorsement because Kevin, is that your rage mic? Is that gonna be a rage mic tonight?
We'll see what happens.
Loki, I'm going to put a bunch of fire on the thumbnail and Microsoft in the trash can. It's going to be great, people. It's going to be great. But before we get into these wonderful stories, we got a lot of people giving Kevin, a lot of people giving super chats right now. And I'm going to hand this over to Culture, but I would actually like to go and grab the first one right here.
Indeed.
This is coming from NinjaPat15 for $5. For the great fusion of Geeks and Gamers, TPP, WDW Pro, also Digimon Storytime, Stranger Way, better than Pokemon Legends ZA. First of all, I want to say yes, That Park Place has had that big merge with Geeks and Gamer. We're very excited. We're actually going to be featuring our first ever Geeks and Gamers story on the show, actually. So, yeah, it's going to be a really great time. We'll have opportunity. We'll have really good people, a lot in really great paces. I'm really excited. And I noticed that you also mentioned Pokemon Legends ZA, which I didn't want to ignore the elephant in the room here today. That actually released like 2 days ago or something as of this recording. I was actually trying to find a good story going on here, but it's kind of, there's this weird thing when games first release, the news is kind of, unless there's a lot of controversy, it's kind of people are giving different sides of the story and like, is it good or not? So we'll keep an eye on it and see what the time will say probably about a week from now, if it's going to be a big disaster for the Pokemon Company, or maybe this is a great rebound, because from what I've seen on X, it's actually been pretty positive. Gentlemen, have you guys played the new Pokemon game at all?
No.
Yeah, I got it. I got it when I got my Switch too. I just haven't opened it yet.
Oh, really? Huh.
Ooh. Okay.
Oh, you know when I'm on the
That
plane,
should be-
I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna play it on Monday when I'm on my way to North Cackalack.
When you're
Okay, well,
on
keep
a
me
wing and a
posted.
prayer.
Yes, but Ninja Pat, thank you so much for the $5 here. I really want to get a chance to talk about a little bit of Pokemon there and the Geeks and Gamers stuff. So once again, we always appreciate your support. And I'm going to go ahead and pass the baton to the wonderful bearded Culture Casino. So, sir, would you like to bring up some of our wonderful people in the chat?
Indeed. We got another super duper chat from our wonderful friend who's always with the positive vibes, Mark Fields, for $5 worth of quarters. He says, and let's see. I need to embiggen this. Man, my glasses. Hang on. I have to switch.
We're going with the super glasses, folks. This is the paid DLC glasses right here.
That's right. Positive vibes to you all. Hopefully, we can all return to the fun and escape of video games as they once were. I hope that is exactly what happens. And it's very well said, my friend. Very well said. And finally, another super
Especially
chat
these days.
from our friend that I've been missing a great deal, Makini Draws. Makini!
Hey!
For $5 in quarters. Woohoo! Hail TGP. We lost a legend this week. We're going to get there. Kagaki? Did I say that right?
Itagaki.
Yeah, Itagaki. Said, meant a lot to me and many others. Rest easy, King. Indeed, sir. And
That'll be our headline here today. And Makini Draws, I just want to say, I love your avatar, by the way. That I'm assuming you probably drew that right up, and I think that's very stylish. But yeah, we're gonna have a lot to say about him. He'll be the headline today, so it's gonna be a rough one for me to talk about because that man influenced my stuff a lot here. But gentlemen,
well,
are you
hang on?
rock and roll?
We I just want to say hi to some other people because Pam Epson is here.
Sorry.
From across the pond, along with Juliet, also across the pond. We've got Blue Sharky. Good to see you, my friend. And many more out there. I really appreciate seeing all the friendly faces, including Zippy, and Chris Dickerson. Good to see you, bud. I haven't seen you on my show recently. Probably a work conflict. Got Argentum out there. Hello, dear. So good to see you.
I love the Witch Zelda icon.
I know.
She's
it's an awesome avatar for sure. And Ninja Pat, we appreciate your support. I can't tell you how much. And so many more. You guys really do make the show go. So you are appreciated and beloved, whether you want it or not, because I love everybody. It's kind of annoying.
Y'all swarming here in this thing. You guys are amazing. We appreciate every one of you.
And Gory, it's good to see you. All right, let's get to it. We've got stories, and Nolan's gonna bum us out. So get ready.
Okay. Yep. All right, guys. I'm here to ruin your Saturdays. Don't worry. That's the Nolan Thunder special right here. All right. So let me go ahead. I'm going to go and start out with the saddest news of the day. You know, it will gradually, hopefully, be laughing by the end of this, but we got to start out with, oh man, this one really hit me, folks. And celebrity deaths don't always hit me, but this one hurt. All right. Coming to us from the folks over at Crunchyroll News by Joseph Lester. Thank you, Joseph. The headline states, Team Ninja founder Tomonobu Itagaki passes away at 58. Itagaki was known for the Dead or Alive series and the Ninja Gaiden revival. Itagaki, founder of video game developer Team Ninja and known for his work on the Dead or Alive fighting games and 3D Ninja Gaiden revival, has passed away at the age of 58. Itagaki passing was confirmed in a post on his Facebook account, which also shared his parting words. Forever clad in a black leather jacket, Itagaki was known in the industry and to the fans as an outspoken creator. After joining Tecmo in the early 90s, he founded Team Ninja in 1995 and went on to produce and direct games like Dead or Alive 1 through 4, Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Volleyball, and several Ninja Gaiden games, the latter of which were renowned for their difficulty and visceral action. Itagaki eventually left Team Ninja in 2008 to form Valhalla Game Studios, where he directed Devil's Third. He then established Itagaki Games in 2021, but no games have been released under that banner. Tekken series director Katsuhiro Harada, who has long held a friendly rivalry with Itagaki, shared a heartfelt message on X, along with an English translation of Itagaki's final post. It's hard to believe, but Itagaki-san, my senior from university and my rival as a creator, has passed away. The last message I ever received from him was, "Let's go drinking. Let's make some noise soon." To think that he's gone at just 58 years old. Yes, everyone dies. Itagaki's final message, and this is an English translation. Words I leave behind. The flame of my life is about to go out. If this message has been posted, it means that the time has come. I am no longer in this world. My life was a series of battles, and I kept on winning. I know I caused trouble for many along the way, but I followed my convictions and fought to the very end. I have no regrets. Only one thing weighs on me. I'm deeply sorry to all my fans that I couldn't bring you a new work. I truly am. That's just how it is. So it goes. Tamabu Itagaki. In Harada's tribute, he stated, "It's hard to believe," so I already talked a bit about this part right here, but he elaborates a bit more on it. The last message I ever received from him was, "Let's go drinking. Let's make some noise soon." To think that he's gone at just 58 years old. Yes, everyone dies eventually. It's inevitable. But you? Isn't it a bit too soon? Didn't you say you were going to defeat me someday? Didn't you come to my wedding wearing your usual black leather jacket and sunglasses and call me your comrade in arms? Didn't you tell me to come to you whether I was in trouble? I never even got the chance to consult you about anything. Honestly, I'm really depressed." And Team Ninja stated, "We're deeply saddened by the passing of Team Ninja's first leader, Itagaki. We will carry on the philosophy and creativity that Itagaki-san began and continue to create games that many gamers will enjoy. Our deepest condolences for his loss from everyone at the team." Itagaki will be missed, and our thoughts are with his friends, family, and colleagues. So, it's a rough one. I remember this man's life, like, DOA is one of my favorite series after the Nintendo stuff. I'm a huge stuff. Their work has inspired a lot of my artistic work, and the amount of detail that man put in his game. Like, the dude even put freaking Aerosmith in the intro to a lot of the DOA games. Like, it got you pumped. It was those small things you wouldn't expect to see other studios do that made it huge. I remember I read a bit about from the Tekken's director opened up a bit about, because there was this whole thing about how the two of them allegedly had this big rivalry going on. Like, Itagaki would always throw shade at Tekken. They would ask, like, "So what's like the top 5 worst games you ever played?" He'll be like, "Tekken 1, Tekken 2, Tekken 3, Tekken 4, and just throw all this slander at him. But the truth was, it was a huge publicity thing because he knew that they were a smaller studio. So he got all these innovative ways to stand out. Of course, DOA is known for the pretty girls and all that. And the dude was very smart when it came to business. And his games, honestly, were a huge influence to, replayability in that golden age when the games had so much content. Kevin, did you play any of his games back in the day, from Ninja Gaiden to DOA or anything otherwise?
Yeah. Well, we've talked about my experience with the Ninja Gaiden revival. It was the most infuriating game I've ever played. The DOA games, I was a young man, decided to check them out. And one of my favorite things was when he talked about why the DOA games were so over the top. He was like, well, yeah, people want action. He's like, they want pretty girls. It's like, and we throw in a gambling element because if you're not willing to risk it all, what's the point in playing the game? I was like, I love this guy.
Oh my gosh, he was so fun too. He had a lot of these like behind the scenes things too, where it's like you would see him, and you can probably see it in our thumbnail here today. He's got like this giant katana sword, or he'd show. I remember when Xbox was like promoting Extreme Beach Volleyball, like he'd show up these interviews. He'd come in with the shades on, the jacket, like he's the coolest man, like looking like he's Neo out of the Matrix. Like he was aware how over the top it was, and it was really cool. Culture, did you play any of these games back then? Do you have any memories with his art?
I think everybody played DOA, right?
People with taste.
Yeah. I mean, and then he went on to found another game company, Valhalla Game Studio or whatever at one point in time. But this man was too young to die. He was only 58. He's just going to, like, I'm turning 55 next month. So,
Culture, don't you dare.
I'm just saying, it's just like, now I'm worried. I need to go lift more heavy things. That's what I need to do. So, lifting heavy things.
Well, if you do something heavy to lift, I can get like a Model 1 PS3 for you or something like that.
I have also, one in the closet. I have several. I have several of the Fat Boys, the original model. So as long as they don't decide to blow up their capacitor, I'm good.
I wanted to share. Well, speaking about, memories and the importance of life while you're here.
I think about memories all the time. I used to have them.
I want to show this. I didn't decide to read from this article because I thought it was a little bit of some biased opinions here. But this article by Game Developer was talking about him, and it had this super cute photo of it's him and his daughter. I remember him opening up about how they used to play Halo together, and so many people, they just see his stuff and it's like, they're just like, oh, what kind of guy could make, like, if you're people who aren't really cool with that, it's like, could make these kinds of games. And then you see him and it's like, yeah, he looked like he was a good dad. Yeah, he cared about gamers, and his art, it wasn't vulgar. It touched people's hearts, and it made people extremely happy and showed that, hey, it's okay to have fun. It's okay to have fighting. It's okay to be a little sexy. It's okay to be playing a video game. And the work, I feel like the footsteps he gave for the industry will speak volumes for years and years to come, especially right now where we're seeing, a lot of, with the success of games such as like, I don't know, Stellar Blade or something like that. You can see the industry and the demand is shifting a lot to kind of reminiscent of that golden age we grew up in, many of us grew up in, or, had a big part in our lives. Kevin, I'm going to give you the final word here because I need to stop before I break into tears or something like that. I'm going to give you the final word, my friend.
Yeah, listen, this is sad. Anytime you see somebody, especially this young, go, it's a tragedy. I will say that we are blessed because this guy gave us fantastic games, and he was just a heck of an entertainer. And I think that's something that's missing. It's nice to see people with a little bit of flair of the dramatic come out there, have fun, and really just get you excited about these games. And I'm hopeful that other people follow his example and do what they can to honor his legacy. Other than that, he gave us a hell of a ride, and we should be happy about that.
Well said. Any closing thoughts, Culture?
I think the fact that this is a person that created multiple popular franchises throughout his career, it seemed like every 5 to 10 years he created something new that everybody was like, oh, that's amazing. And you don't have very many of those anymore. You don't have visionaries or creators like this. And so this is a big loss, especially as Kevin said, at such a young age.
He was very passionate about what he did. In fact, a lot of people like DOA, for example, has had some struggles. I think even Ninja Gaiden a bit, since he left, because these creatives are such a backbone for the creation. I would like to close with one of my favorite stories I think I've ever heard in my life about behind the scenes development of a video game. At one point, like during their rivalry, where the Tekken director dude was like horribly confused about what was even going on, like why this guy was calling him out, this random DOA guy, and he got invited to come over, I believe, to the Team Ninja studio because he wanted the Tekken director to see an early prototype of Dead or Alive 2. So he comes over after this random invitation. He comes to their studio. The dude comes to like the joystick, whatever, and he's up next to Itagaki, and he's like watching him, and so the Tekken director starts playing. He isn't even playing for like 10 seconds, and he's already asking, Itagaki's asking him, so what do you think? Did you barely even got a chance to even try it out, but he's already eager. He's like, okay, what do you think of this game, whatever. So he goes and he plays the bit. He's like, yeah, no, this is cool. So, they do their thing, and he leaves from the day. And apparently, the Tekken director, he said he heard that after he left the building, apparently Itagaki was so excited and so passionate about this rivalry, he literally went to his crew and started shouting, "We beat Tekken!" It was like they were so proud of what they made, and that's the kind of passion and fun and friendly rivalries you need in this day and age. And hopefully, the many who were inspired by his work will continue to hopefully change gaming industry for the better, no matter where it takes. And if it does end up inspiring a lot of people, we'll be sure to talk about it here on That Game Place. Rest in peace to an amazing person. All right, culture. Speaking of amazing people, we got some awesome people in the chat. Would you like to show some of our good people?
We do. We always do. And let me make sure I don't mess this up like I'm famous for doing.
We're good.
Let's see. All right, let's try this again. So I said hi to Gory Eye Beast. That was the last one I remember. And Argentum and Zippy. And the thing is more beans might help culture. Yes, Blue Sharky. I love beans. I'm telling you, on the side over here, covering every window on the east side of the house. I had to do math there. Or compass things. Anyway, so every single window on the east side of the house has a trellis over it now, set from the window by about 18 inches, and fire safe, just in case you're wondering about me escaping alive. They are now full of beans and string beans and peas and sweet peas and just you name it. I mean, they're going to be sugar snap peas. It's like this. There's at least 8 varieties out there right now. I'm so excited. I've got purple potato. What?
I just got a call from Lauren Connor. He said, "Stop talking about peas."
Okay. He was losing his mind last night.
He was upset.
That was great. Look, I'm going to tell you right now, the purple potatoes are already have their flowering shoots emerging from the soil in the 3 beds that are out there. I'm adding 3 more 9-foot, 30-inch beds out there. So and not only that, all the peppers in the rebuilt greenhouse, those things are taking off flowers everywhere. I am so stoked. I'm going to feed the world salsa, apparently. So, very excited.
Next time on That Bean Place.
That's true. Man, I miss it.
Thank you, Blue Sharky.
Yeah. Look, all of you guys, I just want to say thank you. Your support really does mean... we really don't. I didn't see an announcement about the cause of death, Argentum. No. The Japanese are a little bit more like they hide stuff more.
Well, Kevin, correct me if I'm wrong here. Sorry if I cut you off there, Culture. When the Dragon Ball Z dude passed away, I believe it was this year, right? We didn't even know till a little bit after the fact. Am I correct?
Oh yeah, no,
I think Toriyama. It was almost a month later, right?
Yeah. It was. It was like 3.5 weeks later or something. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah. And look, it's just not unusual. Their culture is way different than ours. Plus, American journalists don't care. It seems. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, we care. We like Nintendo and all these other wonderful Japanese game companies, and I just know I don't know how you could miss. You know what I mean? And
well, you know what? I like our culture. Am I right, Kevin? I like our culture.
Right.
Hey, I'm a big fan of our culture too. I just want to turn it back into something amazing that culturians are fighting for. I'm just saying.
Oh my goodness. All right. Any more chats we were going to cover?
Let's see, Zippy was talking about the PS3 power and how it'll go Harry Carry mode if you don't get to that like battery on the board. and how to fix it. I have to be careful how I say things here, okay? Get in trouble. And Argentum says what the obvious thing is. Beans are good nutrition. Indeed. Yeah. Yeah. And technically, these aren't... I mean... I didn't go like with pinto beans or anything like that. I love cowboy beans, don't get me wrong. But I can grow those too. It's just like... I'm going to let somebody else make the refried beans. I don't have time. I don't have time for that. I barely have time to make good, high-quality sauce out of the best tomatoes you've ever seen in your life. Anyway, I got to shut up. Lauren's going to yell at me.
Lauren just intrudes on the stream without an invite. All right. But you know what? I am here to invite our next story. Are you ready, gentlemen?
Yes. Let's go. I blame Kevin.
All right.
Okay.
Coming at you from The Vice by Brent Koyop. Thank you very much, Brent. The headline states, Major Leak confirms PlayStation 6 release date rumors were real. Well,
yep.
That in a headline, I don't know what is. A new report claims that the leaked PS6 release date was accurate and that Sony has had the PlayStation 6 launch window planned for years. So you know what? Any shutdowns, any sort of tariffs and stuff, Sony don't care. They have this thing planned, and according to this, they are committed to the bit. All right, let's find out more. A new leak claims to have confirmed the PlayStation 6 release date window that Sony is aiming for. If true, it means that the previously leaked rumored PlayStation 6 launch plans were actually accurate all along. Alright, so in August, the PS6 release date and specs were reportedly leaked online. While the rumor actually had a lot of credibility behind it, there was still a lot of unknown about Sony's launch plans for the next-gen device. However, tech expert Moore's Law is dead has recently doubled down on the leak. The insider says he's confident that he knows when Sony is going to start production of the PlayStation 6. In an October 13th video, the tech enthusiast revealed that the PlayStation 6 will begin manufacturing in mid-2027. Moore's Law is dead also clarified that these have actually been Sony's plans for a while now. Sony has been planning as of 2 years ago to manufacture the PS6 in the middle of 2027. I literally have a document showing when they're manufacturing these, and it's in the middle to even early 2027. So we're looking at a fall 2027 or early 2028 launch window. I would assume, given Sony's track record here, they seem to usually like releasing their consoles towards around the holiday season. Nintendo seems like they're a little bit more of the ones that kind of like to go a little more of an oddball time, like spring or summer. So if I'm correct here, I think Sony would probably go for late, but who knows? It appears that the leak comes from the internal AMD or PlayStation documents about production. This is interesting for a few reasons. If PS6 is going into full manufacturing earlier that year, then a fall 2027 release date is not off the table. Conversely, it could also point towards an earlier mid-2028 launch. Regardless, this gives up a pretty concrete release window for when we can expect the PlayStation 6 to hit stores. And yeah, the initial 2027 release date rumors were completely spot on. The fact that Sony has been playing this for 2 years also means the date is not likely to move too drastically either. Alright, now we're going to have a little bit of information about some costs here, but Kevin, I'm going to give you the first word on this. Do you think this is accurate? Like, it seems like it might be coming from someone with some decent credentials here, as opposed to just one random Joe Schmo on 4chan. Do you think this is real?
It's probably real. I'd be more impressed if they were discussing a release of a PlayStation 5 game. That would be nice.
Okay, so
game?
Yeah.
They make those?
Yeah, no, I mean, look, the real money's in the consoles, Kevin. So, I mean, you got to get people in the tech first. And then you can pretend to have games on it, which were from 2 previous generations before.
It's like the days of pretend. It's like the days of pretend when you're a kid. You can make a game out of anything. It's like with Xbox saying that everything is an Xbox, you know? Like Twitter.com, that's an Xbox.
I identify as an Xbox.
what do you think here? Do you think this is a bunch of bologna sausage?
Of course, that's my wheelhouse. Look, I knew the leaks were true because I'd been told. So that's neither here nor there. What I think is interesting is that, and folks, just it's like clockwork with Sony specifically. When they have a mid-generation, that's the halfway point.
Yeah.
So the minute you get the plussing up of the previous console, they're working on the next one. Or they may have already worked on it and it's almost ready. So I just wasn't surprised. This is one of those times when Sony's so reliable, you can just set a watch by it. What's interesting about this is that, as Kevin basically inferred, and correctly so, this is going to have just as many release titles as the PS5.
Guys, I sure hope we get a Last of Us Part 2 remastered for the launch window. I'm so excited. Oh my gosh.
I'm going to say this. You might have a remastered version of GTA 6 by that time. We'll see. I don't know. And this is the weird thing, right? GTA 6, you're going to have to take wagers. Does GTA 6 come out before PlayStation 6? Or do they marry the two because they both have 6? And then you have to ask yourself this question. Why didn't you wait for Battlefield 6 for this console? That's synergy, guys. Synergy.
Wouldn't it be terrible if they opted to? I don't think they'd do this, but wouldn't it be terrible if they were like, you know what? Let's try to make GTA 6 like all about the PS6, which means they skip out on the PlayStation 5. I'm sure there are a metric butt ton of people that bought a PS5 just for the new GTA. Am I wrong on that?
I did. I thought we were going to get the new GTA much sooner. We did not. But I will say this, playing GTA 5 on a PS5 is genius. I have way more fun. The graphics are better. It runs without any glitching or any screen stutter, any of that stuff. There's no dropped frames. GTA 5 optimized for 2 generations later.
Well, if you're talking about optimization, you might need to start optimizing your wallet, because PS6 pricing could be impacted by Xbox price hikes. So everyone, if you weren't excited about spending more money on Switch 2 games or Xbox games or the Xbox ranking up their services, don't worry. It's getting worse, as Lou Washington Ghosts like to say. While Moore's Law is dead, didn't have any concrete information about the PS6 price, he brought up a few interesting factors that could impact it. The tech expert said that Microsoft recently raising the price of its products has him worried. I'm more concerned with the fact that the Xbox Series X is $800 smackaroos, and that the Xbox handheld is $1,000. Does anyone even have $1,000? Does anyone even touch $1,000 lately in this economy? Anyways, what's going on to make the PlayStation 6 expensive? Moore's Law is dead then explained that the PS6 pricing will come down to whether Sony wants to be aggressively consumer friendly or not. So in other words, will greed be good, or will they completely cave and I don't know.
I think they're going to learn. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Noah.
You good?
I was just going to say, I think they're going to learn the same lesson Nintendo did with the Switch 2. Because as well as it sold, it did not set records as they expected.
Well, I feel like Nintendo is going to be double downing a bit on that one, but we'll get to that soon.
Oh, no.
But, don't worry. It gets worse. We don't know which way they will go. I mean, sure, the PS6 could be up to $800, but if they went back to the PS4 era, oh, what a good time, of taking a 10% loss at launch mode, there's nothing stopping the PS6 being $499 or $549 without a disk drive, which just seems like mercy these days. And yeah, I don't like this one bit. The article finishes out with, PlayStation has reportedly made changes to the PS6 hardware design that would allow it to cut down on costs, but only time will tell if these factors are factored Factors into factor. Nice word in there, right there, Vice. Are factored into the PlayStation 6 final pricing point. However, it should be pointed out that a recent leak reports that the next-gen Xbox console could be... They'll make another one? Really? Okay, I don't know if I believe that leak, but the next-gen Xbox console could be sold for as high as $1,200. If that happens, I will proceed to jump in the nearest dumpster full of all the copies of Concord. So please, Xbox, do not do that, and do not do that. Sony, I believe in you. Microsoft is allegedly competing with gaming PCs and not PlayStation. So the PS6 will either be affordable as the PS4, or players are going to feel the squeeze on their wallets even more as gaming prices continue to rise through the roof. It'll be interesting to see if Sony follows the footsteps of Microsoft or sticks to affordability. Kevin, okay, I'm going to ask something here. I'm going to ask you a very big question, because normally I'd be like, for example, culture. So how do you think this will impact PlayStation as a brand going forward? Or is this, maybe this is just overblown? But no, Kevin, I'm going to ask you a very deep question here, okay? So PlayStation, Xbox has their expectations up here on where the money's coming from, okay? You with me on this? PlayStation, if they want to compete with the PCs, they also seem to want to have up here on their price point. How does the normal consumer who's not a famous influencer or knows a guy who works at Sony supposed to make a purchase of a PlayStation when it's hard enough to put food on the table?
What you do is you get a group of friends and you go out to the your nearest Spirit Halloween and you buy a bunch of masks and make sure they're all previous presidents. And then you start robbing banks.
That works. I am not a crook.
That would be a great video game. Kevin, I think you're on.
It was a great movie.
Culture, I'm going to bring this over to you. You know financials and the tech side very well. Give me your 2 cents on this. Give me pure, unfiltered culture casino here. Just keep it PG.
I think they're gonna keep their price reasonable, and they may be willing to eat a little on the front end. But again, it means that they're gonna have some exclusive titles that'll sell to overcome that initial lower price. Eventually, everything becomes cheaper. They know that, and it sounds like pretty soon we're gonna have all the chips and motherboards and everything else made here in the States. So, should be easier to ship, and you won't have any tariffs. So, there's an upside here. What I do know is this, though. If they try to mirror Xbox, we're in big trouble, and they're in big trouble. Xbox did some foolhardy stuff with their new handheld bologna sausage. I'm not sure if we have that story or not for today, but I see a smile from Nolan. But I'll just say, that story is deeply upsetting. And I think people who have games on multiple platforms are going to find it deeply upsetting. And it might make Xbox exit the market of consoles faster than we would have believed. I think any and everything that Steam has done recently has just been an effort to kind of keep the gamers in the game. And everybody else is just there to make more and more money. And again, I'm no longer preaching anything Microsoft, so I'm not going to have a positive outlook there. But I will say, at least PlayStation thinks long term and has a vision for what's next, whereas Microsoft does not. And like a lot of people in the chat have said, I mean, the problem with PlayStation 5, and the same thing as Kevin led with, there's no games. There are no specific titles for PS5 that are big games. None. They ended the idea of exclusives without telling any of the customers. And I think that's the problem. Like, this is only on PlayStation. Because there's nothing only on PlayStation now. And that's a big, big problem.
Yeah, one of the games that really, I've said before, one of the games that captured my heart for PlayStation was Stellar Blade. Now that's on PC, so I'm like, once again, don't need a PS5. I don't know why I need a PS6. Kevin, we're about to wrap here, but I'm going to give you the last word on this. This possibly very expensive PS6. What do you think here? Give me your 2 cents.
Yeah, I'm hoping that Sony learns an important lesson and does not go down the Microsoft route, because at the end of the day, I'm just going to decide that it's time for me to become a PC gamer. At least then I can see the actual value in the money that I'm dropping. Yeah, and the other side of it is, stop treating your customers like they're mindless consumers. People will, although people want to be entertained, you gave us an entire generation that had no games in it. So this is a massive investment. I have not been coaxed into being excited about the brand new shiny thing. Just because people will drop what they're doing to go grab a new iPhone doesn't mean that I'm going to drop a bunch of money on a PS6, because it's not like GameStop's going to give you a bunch of trade-in value for it. So you have to earn my enthusiasm. So I wish these studios would get back in the business of getting people excited about games instead of just dropping a bunch of poop on your deck and expect you to be excited that there's a bunch of flaming turds when you open up your door.
Yeah, I think people are longing for the days of, competitive rivalries in the industry, one-upping each other, doing everything they can to... It's almost like you have 2 dudes trying to win the girl's heart, and the girl in this case is the consumer. It feels like now everyone's just gotten so much conformity that I feel like the consumer is suffering for it. And, I love PlayStation. I really do. I show my Nintendo fanboy a lot, but especially the PS1, PS2 era, and as much of a love-hate relationship I have with the PS3, Sony has captured a place in my heart and has made for a lot of things I truly love. Xbox, I can have a good meme time, some good memes, on dogging on them a bit, but I love them too. Like EA, that comes from a place of disgust and disappointment. But PlayStation, at the end of the day, I want them to do well. And I think one of the best ways they can do it is don't price out their consumer and their fan base, because especially the most loyal, stuff gets hard and they want to be able to support them through thick and thin. Whatever news will come, if this leak is real, we'll be sure to definitely be talking more about it here, hopefully soon here on That Game Place. All right, I am going to get the next story going, but culture, we have some amazing people with beautiful minds, beautiful souls, and I want to hear their 2 cents on the matter. Wouldn't you agree?
I do. And they're on fire over this topic, and I get it. I mean, a lot of people are of the similar argument that Kevin does. Ninja Pat comes out here and says that makes sense with the way they want to change the heck out of GTA 6. Well, they have to get rid of all the woke stuff that's going to destroy the game, because gamers will, and they've seen it in real time, stay far away from that if it's got all the wokeness in it. In fact, woke is so deeply unpopular, even the party that brought us this garbage is running away from it. So I think you're spot on there. And a lot of people are still having the PS4 life, as Sin here says. And you know what? My PS4 still works. It's gold. I have a gold controller to go with it. Yep. Gold. You know what? And I still have all my Saints Row games before the new one. So I'm perfectly satisfied in my home with my Saints Row and my older consoles, because they work. Yeah. And let's see. We got Argentum saying, how do these companies think these things will sell at those prices? Well, that's what I'm trying to say. I don't think PS5 is going to try to come out and, pick your pocket. They are not Xbox. Xbox will come out and pick your pocket. Nintendo apparently does too, just because they're worried that they're not going to get all of your money. They come and pick your pocket for all your money. So yeah, there's that. And PS4 emulation is slowly getting there too. No kidding. You can get a lot of MAME copies of, or similar copies of PS4 titles and be perfectly happy with them. I get it. Chris Dickerson, says Expedition 33. A lot of people love that game. We actually talked about it in one of our videos very recently as well. Jared Markham is here. Good to see you, my friend. And he says, it's Nintendo going to be the last concert standing. I think so too. Or I think you meant console, which I agree with that also.
I would totally go to a Nintendo concert. Just saying. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I feel like Nintendo's figured out that was a oopsie. And I think every time they try to step towards a $70 game, it's gonna hurt. And the people trying to make GTA 6 $100 game, all that's coming out of the games media because they're
sure, don't spoil the next story.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. But we're going to talk about that in a minute, apparently, so stick around, don't go nowhere. And Zippy says, for me, a long-time gamer, they fumbled the ball with PS3. PS4 was lukewarm. PS5 is moot. Well, they didn't give us even moot. There were no cows in that field. I'm just saying. Because they had no game titles out there. And finally, the last comment here from Argentum. My Slack is going bonkers. Argentum says, Nintendo tries to pick my pocket and gets none of my money. If the Switch 2 were even 50 cheaper, I might be able to afford it. See, and that's the problem, right, Argentum? It's like, I have to make an evaluation on, is this worth it? Because in the economy, the global economy right now, you have all these people that can't be customers because you priced it $50 too high. And that's dumb. Like, you should have seen price aversion coming a mile away. And, while I could go out and buy one, I won't. I have the money in my pocket, actually, literally, right now. But I ain't going to go there. You know why? I don't have any value there. And not only that, I'm extra worried about their new policies when it comes to even accessing and playing your games consistently. Yeah. I'm terrified that somebody with half a brain is going to use AI to hack their database and kill everything. That's going to be very bad. And is it a possibility? Yes, because I just learned about how to poison AIs and, essentially slay ChatGPT and even Grok. You overload it with bad data. You have it execute pseudo commands as an administrator. There's a lot of things that people are going to do to poison AI. It's coming soon to an AI near you. And on top of that, the meltdown that's coming for everything else AI, which is kind of sad. But anyway, I carried on for too long and I'm thinking about potatoes again. So I better stop talking and we need to move on to the next story.
Absolutely. Well, let me tell you, Argentum, if you don't want Nintendo picking your pocket, don't worry, Rockstar's got you covered. We'll have more on that. But wait, we have a super.
We have a super chat from Chris Dickerson for $5 in quarters. Nice. We are getting them. You guys are doing great. Thank you very much for your support. We appreciate you. We do not take you for granted. And I will try to read this one properly, saying Final Fantasy Tifa. Tifa used to be the reason to upgrade to new PS5. There you go. But Hironobu Sakaguchi. That's right. I'm right? Sakaguchi. Did I say it wrong?
No, I think you're right. I'm sorry. I'm just a child.
Is off making games on other platforms. Fantasian. Did I say that right? I hope so. Still on PS4. So there you go. See, and these are the kinds of things that the people who are committed to consoles and basically to the future are going to pay attention to. Yep. We need exclusive titles if we're going to have a PS6. You know what you should have done? Made a deal with Rockstar that you would cover one quarter of the budget for PS6 if it was an exclusive title. Because this is
that's a lot of budget. That might bankrupt Sony as a company. Oh,
it might, but I'm just saying, come on now. It's only quarter of a billion, or maybe it's a little more than that. It's going to be rough. This game is the most expensive video game ever, and in fact, it's more expensive than the rinse of soybeans, the Star Wars third leg that was awful. Anyway, I'm not going to talk about third legs anymore because I have to tell you, that's inconvenient. But we need to go. So let's get to the next story, please.
Yes. Here we go. And thank you again, Chris Dickerson. All right. Coming at you from Geeks and Gamers. All right. I'm very happy to be covering from this site. A lot of amazing people here, especially after the merge. Please bookmark Geeks and Gamers. Do yourself a favor. They are amazing. This comes to us from Alex Gierzo. The headline states, industry vet believes Grand Theft Auto 6 costs should be $100. Let's read on. As the argument over increasing video game price rages, one gaming industry veteran supports Rockstar Games in raising the Grand Theft Auto 6 cost. Speaking with esports insider Saints Row, let's see. Sorry, I want to zoom in a little bit. There we go. Saints Row design director Chris Stockman said that he supports Grand Theft Auto 6 costing as much as $100 instead of the standard $70 for a new game. Asked directly about the rumored price, Stockman said that Grand Theft Auto developer Rockstar Games is the only one that can get away with a price that high, and that while he doesn't believe this should or could become the industry standard, which he thinks would be a disaster, he hopes it's $100 and believes it deserves to be $100. The reason Stockman gives for his support of Grand Theft Auto 6 price hike is the scope and magnitude of this production, something other games can't claim. As we know, this is perhaps the most expensive game ever created. Biggest budget, it's been highly anticipated, it's a system seller. Everyone knows the name GTA, and 5 was one of the most successful games of all time. The industry has responded to it. It's like how every game wanted to be Fortnite for a while, every game wanted to be GTA 5. But does it make economic sense? Economic experts differ on whether it makes monetary sense to raise the Grand Theft Auto 6 costs. Matthew Ball, a video game industry analyst and the CEO of the investment advisory company Epilion, believes it could lead to standard video game prices being raised to offset higher budgets, stalled player growth, claiming that video game prices have never been lower in real terms than they are today. On the other hand, IGN spoke to some other analysts who believe this would actually cost Rockstar money. Matt Piscatella, a video game industry analyst for Circana, likened raising the price to narrowing the funnel of potential customers, while NYU Stern professor Joost van Drunen noted the successful sales strategy of Grand Theft Auto 5. Launched the game at the standard price late in the console cycle before upping it for the next-gen systems. So, there is a lot of talk here that this game might be requiring a lot of dinero. And I'm going to give you the first word here, Kevin, before I jump out my nearest window. And thankfully, I'm on the ground level, so Rockstar isn't going to cause me any serious injury, at least not in my heart, not yet. But Kevin, how is your heart feeling? How is your heart?
It's so funny. Like, as we listen to this, I'm like, listen, no game deserves to be $100. What should be happening is you should be endeavoring to make a game that would make a player feel like they're willing to pay $100 for it, while not charging them $100 for it. At the end of the day, it's not my fault that you want to dress up your game by overpaying celebrities to drop their voices and render their likeness. GTA works because the story was so strong and the celebrity cameos were just an extra added bonus. Now we're too busy being worried about the sizzle and not being worried about the steak, which is why this game got delayed the way it was, because we had to pull out all the woke nonsense. But if you want to tell me I need to drop $100 to go buy a video game, I'm just going to, in kind, tell you to go take a flying leap, because no, I don't want to. And I'm noticing that the people who kind of seem to be beating this drum are the shills, are the shills who work in in our media space, So I guess they're assuming that if they kiss enough butt, they'll get a free copy of it. And then other failed developers. The scope and magnitude is what what I used to have a boss. He said you have to deliver the BAM. So the BAM is the bare blank minimum. So scope and magnitude are the bare blank minimum of an open world game. It needs to feel big. It needs to feel grandiose. That's what you've promised. I have no business being punished because you have run out of ways to deliver on your promise and had to spend a little bit of money. I guarantee you that they probably could have saved 40% of the money they had spent on this if, if they stopped firing their teams and having to bring people back in, if they cut down on the number of celebrity endorsements, and if they spent a little less time finding out how to jam the message into the game. It's unacceptable. I don't want to have to pay because you don't know how to control yourself.
It's fascinating because, we've seen a lot of stuff over the past few years, of course, regarding culture war, the amount of content in a game, like a lot of things that have been a lot of hot button issue over X. I remember when the Nintendo Switch 2 prices came around, that was a big thing. They wanted to get a big boycott going. But even just looking at this from an economic stance, I love that you were talking about the celebrity endorsements in the past. Like these days, Kevin, do you remember how they had Madame Cleo as a cameo in the old GTA game stuff? Nowadays, they'd be like, oh, we got Madame Cleo in our budget, $100 extra. I remember years ago, I'd buy, say, a new DOA game, and they give you, a mouse pad. They give you, trading cards. They give you all little features to try to encourage you, for the most loyal, something a little bit extra, because they couldn't just charge this much for games. Now we're in a post-subscription model medium era. We're in a post-free-to-play, and you buy the game content as it goes on. And it's been getting a lot of rejection, from the masses, and with a game this huge, I know they are banking that this is going to be their game for the next probably decade to come. And when this game drops, I've said it before, it's probably going to shatter sales records. It's probably going to be the quickest selling game ever. But once we get to where, the longevity, if it's nothing but getting price gouged, and if the game's not there, it's going to be equaling disaster for this company. So for their sake, they better hope that they get 3 home runs with this thing, because the hype is there. The fan base still exists, and there's a lot of people from different backgrounds who want to give this game a chance. But the reality is, if you price out your market, because no matter where you're from, money's hard to come by right now unless you're rich. So I don't know if putting $100 price tag, especially for a franchise, which, let's be honest, I know a lot of us probably in the chat, on the panel, probably played GTA a little bit younger than we were supposed to be. That tends to happen with this series. And it might be a little harder to get mommy and daddy to buy it when it's $100. Culture, give me your 2 cents on this. Are they out of their minds possibly charging $100 for GTA 6?
Yes.
Well said. Moving on. No, give me more of your point.
They've got a problem because people are still worried that they're hiding a character reveal in one of the characters between the 2 main characters. And I think that's kind of weighing on the audience. So I think people are going to take longer to pull money out of their pocket for this game until all the reviews are in. People have played it, gone from there. All of that.
Yeah,
we'll have to see.
I don't think the final story has been said for GTA 6 by any means. All I know is Rockstar, I know the people there. You have an audience. All of us, have played our fair share of GTA here, and this comes not out of yo, let's dog on GTA because they did something dumb again. This ain't a hate channel. I'm here to give various viewpoints from different backgrounds on a lot of things. And my personal thing here is I want this game to be good and to do well. And I don't think the way to do that is feeling like you're pricing out your audience because you let the budget get too astronomically high. I don't remember when Avengers Endgame came out that all of a sudden I had to pay more than the average amount of another movie's ticket just because the production value budget was so huge. Now, granted, movie tickets have gone up over time, but that's beside the point, that people need to have an access point. Yeah. And raising the prices, even if there's quality, it could put a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth. But hey, Rockstar might land a win here. So if they manage to succeed or fall on their feet, who knows? We'll talk about it here on That Game Place. Woo, boys. Kevin, do you have something you want to say real quick before we do supers? Or all that?
No, listen, I'll be honest. Part of me is saying I hope they do it because I feel like it's going to blow up in their faces and it'll teach a really hard lesson that needs to be taught. Because I really do feel like, especially gamers, right? Gamers are really quick to react, and they're really good about being steadfast and resolute in their beliefs. So I really think that charging $100 is going to be it's going to be a massive mistake, and they're gonna fly a little too close to the sun and learn an important lesson about hubris if they do it. So I'm kind of a little excited for it. I'm kind of like the Elmo meme in front of the flames, wanting to watch it all burn.
Some men just want to watch the world burn. I didn't think he meant you, Kevin. Culture, do you want to go and bring in our wonderful chat people up?
I sure do. I love our wonderful chat people. Zippy says, I got GTA 3 for Theme. Barely played it. Oh, what?
Freem.
I don't know what Freem is, but yeah. Never played GTA. Never will. GTA is so fun, but some people don't like that kind of gameplay, so I get it. Jared Markham says to Argentum, it is possible that Nintendo comes back to Earth. Well, if they do, then there's a chance that, Rockstar will come back to Earth. But the problem is that their owner, 2K, has debt. Yeah. This game is a giant debt. I don't know how else to say it. They need this to make more money than any other video game ever, and they need to do it fast with net bookings that present like Nvidia or Tesla.
Yeah.
What do you think, Kevin?
I'm
I think it's going to take a lesson for the consumer at the end of the day, or they get a president in here, like the girl that they have stepping in. I don't know. I have a feeling in my gut that I think she's going to do a good job. I just hope that she has a little more Reggie in her and a little less, no offense to him, Doug Bowser. Maybe a little less complacent, if that makes sense.
The Hauser brothers were the core of Rockstar and of all the stories we got up until this game. We lost a lot of people that we shouldn't have to the political culture garbage that we've been fighting against for the last half decade or more. I think it's been 8 years, to be honest with you. But look, I mean, we want good games. We want this to be a good game, but we don't want to pay $100 for it. No. I think 70 is again, global economy is hot garbage.
Yep. I think some of this too has to do with the fact that you're not high. I don't think you need people who have actually played the games and actually game and actually engage with other people about how they feel about things. You're looking, if I'm just bringing in somebody who has only ever studied a P&L and everybody is just broken down to numbers and decimal points, you are missing a very important nuance. Yes. You don't understand your consumers. You don't understand your customers. You don't understand what they need, what they want, how they're willing to spend, what they're willing to spend on. So that means you can't appeal to them. You can't appeal to their nature. You can't. It's just. Oh no, here, brand new shiny thing, $400 million. Great if you have it. If you don't worry, you'll figure it out. And then the end result of that is, you push people towards the high seas, and you see emulators and other stuff happening, and then it just it makes a whole big old mess in the middle, and a lot, and there's a lot of collateral damage. You see a lot of smaller studios who could have had a lot of potential. They don't get a shot, and I know indie gaming has kind of filled a special void, but that's not what these consoles need right now. They need star power, and we haven't really seen that. You need to see the return of old school staple IPs. You need to see brand new stuff popping up, and and I always scream about it. The innovation just isn't there. So if you're going to charge me top dollar for the same old garbage, I will just walk away.
Kevin, that is one of my favorite speeches in the history of the show. We've had a lot of really, really good people here, but honestly, even out of all streams I have ever been on, that was spot on. Here, other channels, good speech there, man. I respect that. I just need the motivation music in the background behind you as we go.
And some motivational posters with cats. So anyway,
yes.
We have SFX of 314 Sabretooth Raptor with another $5 super duper chat, which I appreciate. 1.5 years until the Culture Casino and Apollo adventure game. Lorne plus Marcus Brody. Marcus Brody, excuse me. Type WDW Pro narrator. Nolan Short. That's funny.
No, he says on short round.
Yeah, short round type. Okay.
Okie dokie, Dr. Jones.
Tom is Midnight's Edge. Sala type. You know what? That sounds great. I feel very Indiana Jonesy.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I have to ask. Okay, SFX. First up, thank you for your amazing super chat. It's always appreciated. But second, I want to get back into this thing here. If we're gonna be an adventure game, what system's gonna be? This is gonna be an old point and click PC type game? Do I get to be all digitized and trapped in the game like all those 90s movies? Kevin, give me a 90s movie where you get trapped in a video game. I'm sure there's one, right?
Lawnmower Man. Oh no, let's see. I don't know. You can't really go to 90s and want a quality internet movie game because they were so very wrong about what the internet actually was.
Where do I find the link? Oh, it's on the internet. The what's the internet?
You've got to go on the web, man.
But SFX, we always appreciate all your support, and hey, I would be all on top of this game. So if this thing becomes a reality, I'll be more than happy to lend my voice work. You don't have to AI me. I'll do the voice for you. I'll do it. I'm down for making this game real. All I ask is there's a level where Kevin Apollo fights a bear hand to hand. That's all I ask for. But thank you so much, SFX, for your super there. Culture, any more chats you want to cover before we move on here?
Well, we need to get cooking, my friend, because we've got more stories. Hello to the 300 of you watching across platforms. It's good to see you.
Woo! YouTube, X, the whole shebang. So thank you all for being here. And we got a fun story for you here. So we've had a lot of Xbox stuff. We had a lot of PlayStation stuff and a lot of stuff that's routinely about taking your money. But this company, they really like taking your money. Who am I talking about? The folks at Nintendo, obviously. All right, coming at you from the good folks over at Nintendo Life, a personal side of mine that I've always been a big fan of. This article is coming to you by PJ O'Reilly. The headline states, Nintendo reportedly increases Switch 2 production to 25 million units for year one. All right. Nintendo has apparently requested its global suppliers to pump out as many as 25 million Switch 2 console units by the end of March 2026. If the Big N can manage this, it would set the company up for meeting the demand of what's set to be a record-breaking first year of sales for the new console. Well, guys, I don't think that boycott went too well. According to Bloomberg, people familiar with the matter say that Nintendo has requested a boost in production in order to maximize potential sales across Christmas as Switch 2 continues to crush expectations. Analysts were already predicting it will sell 17.6 million devices by the end of March 2026. So with these production figures, that figure looks to be comfortably surpassed and reach 20 million, at least based on the shipping estimates from its assembly partners. Now, will these systems sell from retail? That remains to be seen. But Bloomberg intelligence industry analyst Nathan Nadu says that this reinforces our view that its 15 million unit sales target is conservative and a guidance upgrade appears imminent. The console sold 5.8 million units in its first month globally versus the original Switch's 2.7 million launch sales, he continues. Now, keep in mind to the audience at home, this was coming off the Wii U, which was not by any means a console juggernaut. This is coming off of the Nintendo Switch 1, which was one of the best-selling consoles ever. But he still continues that there are risks regarding US tariffs and that Nintendo might need to follow Microsoft and Sony in raising US prices of its console. Okay, can I please tell this guy to shut up? That would be an option here, because have you seen all the people on X taking literal screenshots of X discontinuing Xbox Game Pass? But the article goes on to say, still, with Nintendo already looking comfortable to surpass industry sales predictions and thrashing its own modest predictions for Switch 2 in its first year, and despite controversies over screen quality, game key cards, and the general state of the economy overall not having the kind of impact on sales some may have feared, it seems they are keen to push the advantage while the going is good for the console. Indeed, and as pointed out by Bloomberg, it shows a company in full flight, going all out to secure success for their flagship device. Sales are already trending 77% ahead of the original Switch's launch, which is much more than 76%. It's clear Nintendo is trying to make the most of its general excitement of the console. So it goes on to talk a bit about the percentages and yada, yada, yada. But I want to look at the bigger picture here. Culture, I'm going to give you the first word on this. I don't think they're learning their lesson, but maybe you have a different perspective here. I think they're seeing these sales, the public's there, and they're producing more, which, as someone who doesn't want a lot of consumers to be priced out, I'm not the biggest fan of this. What's your unique take on this?
I think the spreadsheet warriors that have made their ways into all these corporations are not paying attention to trends. And they definitely aren't paying attention to the economy. So, look, sales definitely started to slow after the first month. They had to. Everybody who wanted one of these stood outside of stores waiting for the store to open to check every day if there were some. That eventually ends. Ask Xbox and PS5, right? Eventually, the people that definitely wanted one got one. I had one for Christmas the year it came out. So I'm just going to say, you get these. The problem is you have to recognize when the trend line is headed downward. Yep. And if they think that they're going to sustain sales at 25 million units a year, that's a pipe dream. Seeing money, as you mentioned before, Nolan, nobody's seeing money anymore. They want to, they'd like to, but all that money is still rolling into eating.
Yep.
Paying electric bills, paying a water bill.
And you can't eat a Switch 2. I've tried.
Yeah, it'd be kind of crunchy and gross. By the way, a lot of the components in it will kill you if ingested, but that's a whole other conversation. Let's just take a look at the fact that they could have done much better, and they don't recognize that. Again, that $50 that Argentum mentioned earlier, that's a big difference to people right now. That used to be the cost of a video game. So somebody that would buy one of these needs a game to play.
Yep.
And so that $50 means that they could play a game. And you'll make Good money point. On the back end. This is really bad. Again, I haven't been super excited about the Switch 2. I think I've been very transparent on that. And, I'm not a little bit jealous or angry at Kevin for acquiring one recently. Not at all.
Which, Kevin, I'm going to give you the next word here. What's your perspective on this thing? Do you think this is just front heavy? Or do you think that this might mean like, hey, maybe they're gambling a little too high on this, so to speak, you know? Like maybe the trends are showing a very dangerous territory. I've seen it with some of the systems in the past. Even the Wii U had some strong sales from the start there. So what's your personal take in this matter?
I think they're praying for a Christmas miracle. I think they're thinking that people are so, and they may not be wrong. I think that they're looking at kind of where the state of the world is right now, and they're thinking that people are going to be willing to overspend during the holidays, and that if they're going to overspend, let them overspend on the Switch 2, and let's just flood the market with as many of these things we can get out, and see how many of them we sell, and then worry about it in the back end. And I think it's foolish. And again, like everybody said tonight so far, is the extra amount of money that they have charged has shut out a big chunk, of their buyer base. Nintendo has for the last 25 years, as Sony and Microsoft were attacking each other, Nintendo slid in the sweet spot. It's like, hey, we're priced so you can buy either your a Wii or a Switch and a Sony or an Xbox. Now they've decided to go, well, now you have to pick between Sony, Xbox, and Nintendo. So which one is it going to be? I think the other part of it is I think that maybe they're expecting Xbox to croak just like we are, and they're hoping that they can fill the void for people who are looking for something. And like maybe your Aunt Rita, who doesn't know anything about video games, she just knows that they're all the same thing. And you wanted a little Xbox thing, but I got you a Switch. I couldn't find it. Target got rid of them.
I wish they would go back to the Game Boy. I love the black and white Marios.
The little Spider-Man game. That was fun to play. But yeah. I don't know. This is all just so asinine to me. Bring the price down, admit you made a mistake, and get everybody excited about it, and stop it with this lunacy of smashing people for $70 games. I get it. You tried it in the 90s, and it may have worked, but the 90s were also the world's angsty teen years, and we were a lot more free with money because things were cheaper then. So everything is super expensive. So we have way more entertainment options. So
absolutely, more than ever before. With how dominant screens have been now in our society. I saw an image online. You gentlemen might have seen it too. I don't know, but it was I trying to remember what the X account was, but it was something. It might have been just the old internet, which is a great account. I recommend giving them a follow. I was looking at some of their old DOA ads from back in the day, but it was showing an image. Now, granted, this is from a company that was in desperation mode because they were like third in the console race, but they were literally showing like Walmart shelves, and they were selling GameCubes from about 2001, 2002, $50 a bone, which was a bargain even back then. Fast forward 25 years later, and you can barely make the ends meet just to get a Switch 2 that has Mario Kart World, Donkey Kong Bonanza, and an overpriced tutorial game, and the Switch 1 category, which you probably already bought, seeing as how it was following up a record-breaking system. And yeah, like, this stuff worries me. Because I heard a great take in regards to Grand Theft Auto 6, which is also rumored right now to be at $100. And I heard a great take. I wish I could remember this gentleman's name or girl, whoever they see themselves as. They said if they make them $100 now, 2 years from now, they'll start saying $127 needs to be adjusted to be the industry standard. And at some point, a line in the sand needs to be drawn. We say in history, a certain percent tax increase. Eventually, they've gone too far, Next thing you know, they're dumping the tea in the ocean. But I'm not saying we need to go that far. But Nintendo, you've had a reputation of affordability for a long time. And if you don't have enough games to make up for that fact, it's not going to look too positive going here. Culture, you have any closing thoughts before I wrap this story up?
Nintendo better figure out they need to lower the price of their consoles because their games are priced too high.
Good. Well said. Well said. And you know what? If we finally get that price decrease news from Nintendo, I will proceed to wake up from my dream. But no, if that does break, we'll cover it here on That Game Place, baby. All right, culture, chat people, we got more stories to cover. Let's talk about the wonderful people real quick.
The beautiful people?
The beautiful people. Very beautiful.
The beautiful people. We got our friend Blue Sharky out there saying, I still want one, but I can't afford till next year. I hope it goes down. Me too. I think all of us do. Except for Kevin.
Hey, I traded in stuff, which I never do.
Yeah. Probably Concord. We got Zippy out there as well. Switch one. Thank you. Twitch is in big trouble. I don't think we're covering that story, but Twitch is in big trouble. Anyway, Switch one was a turnoff. No DS, 3DS support. Why bother investing in new hardware? That's a good question, because the next part of that statement is because it doesn't support the old software. And I think backwards compatibility of lots of things on Nintendo has been the biggest shame out there.
Yeah.
And again, that's because they kept playing with physical formats, which was dumb, but whatever. Jared Markham says, I actually think Nintendo is just taking advantage of Sony and Microsoft and shooting themselves in the feet with their consoles. I mean, it's kind of late to take advantage of the PS5 with no games, but it's a little early for the PS6 with no games, which is going to be amazing, I'm sure.
Just think right now, guys, you have more games than the PlayStation 6. Just know that. You can still have that title right now.
That's very true. Let's see. Argentum says if they lower the price, even that $50, I would probably buy a Switch 2. Yeah, I mean, it's the difference between a game and no games. I'm going to buy a console. I have no games. That's not good. Chris Dickerson says the obvious thing. To the Switch 2, I say, meh. The first Switch is great. I mean, it's no $1,200 Asus Xbox Ally, which you have to have a specific subscription that allows you to access the games you bought in that specific subscription. Dude, the Ally is a piece of garbage. I mean, the handheld's fine. The fact that it's attached the Xbox name to it makes it giant garbage. I'm just going to say it that way. And
but you know it's also garbage?
What?
Xbox! Let's talk about Xbox!
Woohoo! Let's do that.
All right, let's ramp the next story here, everybody. All right, coming at you from the folks from CNET. No, according to Microsoft, no, Xbox hardware isn't disappearing from Target and Walmart. Gentlemen, I don't know if you are familiar with what's been making the rounds on X and the Reddits and the MySpaces, whatever have you, but there was some talk about Xbox products getting yoinked off the shelf, meaning that could be very dire. We're coming off of a recent story we covered here on That Game Place about Costco actually no longer going to be carrying Xbox products, but still covering Nintendo and PlayStation. So let's talk a little bit about this article here. Microsoft is reassuring gamers that Xbox hardware, including game consoles and accessories, isn't going anywhere at major retailers, including Target and Walmart. And one of those retailers, Target, has also confirmed that there's no truth to rumors about the end of Xbox hardware availability in its stores. The rumors caught fire over the weekend on Reddit, with Xbox subreddit users posting images and stories alleging that according to at least one Target employee, the chain would stop selling Xbox hardware. Target and Walmart, among other retailers, remain committed to partners for Xbox consoles, accessories, and games, a Microsoft representative said in a statement. Target also issued its own statement. We continue to sell Xbox consoles, games, and accessories both in-store and on Target.com. Statement reads, select items are currently not showing up on Target.com because they are sold out. but once available again, consumers will see them on Target.com. A representative for Walmart did not immediately respond to a request for comment, as per usual with Walmart. Oh, sorry, did I say that? Microsoft has raised its Xbox console prices twice this year due to tariffs. Earlier this month, Microsoft issued a separate statement that said it's continuing to invest in the future of its first-party console business, and the company planned a multi-year deal with tech hardware maker AMD that was announced in June. And you get a lot of the corporate spiel. One of the big ones that kind of blew this rumor to pieces, if you want to call it that, was a statement coming from WindowsCentral.com. And in this article, they proceed to show some of those original pictures that were kind of raising the alarm for gamers. As you can see here, an Xbox section, which is a bit minuscule on some of their offerings, and a lot of bare in-store shelves were showing. I was even hearing word. I saw something. I don't know if it was staged or not, but it was actually Nintendo games stationed in an Xbox section. It was weird. So, gentlemen, I want to know both of your reactions to this. Do you believe Xbox, or are them calling fake news in the turn also them saying that everything's fine when it's not fine? Culture, I'm going to give you the first word. Do you believe what they're putting down here?
Well, I actually believe that love is the answer. But I'm pretty sure that Microsoft is a giant sucking sound. And I can't believe anything that they would have to say.
Valid. Kevin, what do you think of this?
Microsoft has gone from suck to blow. I don't know. I don't think it's a good sign when a major retailer starts pulling your stuff, and I don't think anybody's interested in paying a bunch of money for another system that doesn't have games.
Well,
and
can I suggest something? And I think you'll know this answer, because I mean you've had backgrounds in games for a long time. Most people don't know that. But do you think if people start reducing your footprint on their retail space, which costs $1 per foot, that maybe that's a bad sign?
Oh yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Oof,
You have to look at the company itself. I could chime in here. The company itself too. Imagine if these rumors started happening with, let's take Nintendo. If like all of a sudden, oh, they're clearing out the shelves of the Nintendo products. No one would believe that has somewhat of a brain cell, because they know Nintendo's fine. Even when people are like, oh, I don't think Nintendo can survive, the Switch 2 doesn't do well. They have like literally $15 billion in the bank. They can go through several Wii U eras and still be fine. They really have to have generational incompetence to mess up. Xbox, on the other hand, there is a reason why these rumors are breaking out. Yeah. We are literally coming off a major trend of people posting on X and being like, hey guys, look, I took a picture of me canceling my Xbox Game Pass subscription because it was just so high in value. Am I wrong on that, Kevin?
No, you're 100% correct. I'm actually still enjoying watching.
You're muted. Oh, never mind. I hear you now.
Okay.
I hear you.
I'm enjoying watching this trend play out. The
Xbox is trying to censor you.
I accidentally moved this little microphone. I don't know what to do with it. Hold on.
No, you're good. We can hear you good, sir.
Okay. So it's. I'm enjoying watching this trend play out. It's just. I just don't get it. It's an old system. Orange Man Bad isn't going to get you any sympathy. You just put out some freaking games. And people are believing this because Microsoft proper doesn't even treat Xbox well. So, for years they've complained about how they don't like spending the money on the manufacturing. They don't like spending the money on having to house the systems in warehouses. It's when your home team, when your home stadium, your founding partner is telling you, yeah, you kind of suck. Everybody's just gonna think you suck. So of course everyone's gonna. It's probably the end of days for Xbox, and it's unfortunate because when Xbox showed up, it was pretty cool.
Can I suggest something weird, Kevin? Because this could blow your mind. I think Microsoft is dying.
Really?
I don't disagree with you. I don't.
I think the federal government, when the moment that they bail out of Microsoft, they go to something like a very friendly Linux, distribution. I think the world can change because the GUIs that you find on these Linux distributions are good enough, and they have a compatibility mode that works on most of the products out there. And I think that when that switch is made, and people are not happy with Windows 11, they're still pissed that Windows 10 is dead. So I'm going to tell you that I'm going to stay on Windows 10 for as long as I can. Eventually, I might upgrade, but I hate Windows 11 passionately.
And isn't it funny? We have this like with especially with Windows, right? It's like every other generation or every 2 generations, you get stuck with a dud, and then they try to bully you into upgrading. Listen, Microsoft Teams I have to use it on a regular basis. It stinks. It's so bad.
Well, people will use the free Chinese option in Slack before they lean into Teams. People will use the freeware that they know they're totally being observed on before they use anything in Microsoft, which they know they're being observed on and is never safe. I mean, anything that has the Microsoft branding on it has at one time been hacked. And their fixes, no bueno. Much like Nintendo, they will break your stuff.
Yeah.
Well said. Well said. And yeah, Culture, I love your take with, Microsoft as a company overall. I don't think that's something you're going to hear a lot of people across,
No, nobody's going to say that.
Different platforms going for. So I really appreciate you bringing that to the table here, because it shows with Xbox right now. It seems like it used to be back, like with Phil Spencer used to be one of my preferred personalities to see when it comes to, gaming coverage. I felt like he seemed like he had passion for it. He kind of helped give Xbox a face that was sorely lacking, like Bill Gates, of course, had his face on it for a little while at the early days, but that dropped off like a rock, and he has not much to do with it these days now. But it seems like these days they interview him, he's like, yeah, homie, things aren't looking too good here. He just seems so down in the dumps. I'm like, Xbox, you need to glow up really bad. And, I think the consumers can notice, when the dam is breaking up, the figurative dam, and I don't think, even just a big Halo success is going to save it. I think they need to look from the inside out, just take a fresh perspective and hopefully revamp.
Okay,
We're going to say
you said a lot of foreign words together. A big Halo success. What?
Hey, I was in a coma and I haven't been awake since 2010 with Halo Reach. Is the Halo game still doing well?
Did you see the TV show?
Ooh.
Oh.
No.
Sorry, I forgot that was Halo because he took off his helmet too many times. I forgot.
Yeah.
Oh, man. But Microsoft, I don't want you to be the meme machine. That's why we have EA. So please, get your stuff together. Xbox was so cool. It was so cool, man. Please, just get better, please, for all of our sakes. But hey, if you make a good decision or a really terrible one, we'll cover it here on That Game Place. All right, Culture, I'm going to get to the next story. Do you want to bring up our wonderful chat again?
Yeah, Chris Dickerson says, I'm still playing the original Xbox and the 360. Not missing anything. I'm telling you right now, the 4K upgrade on the original Xbox, while difficult, is worth it. Pretty amazing. I will say to Chris Dickerson, Kevin is in his God mode right now. So I think the Echo is going to save us, to be
Sorry.
fair. And then Kevin asks the House of Apollo, the great channel you should be subscribed to because of everything that's going to happen in the future. You should do that. I wasn't being facetious or sarcastic or anything because I love Kevin. But apparently he thinks it's good. Yeah, it's weird. But I do want to say that the mom is here. It's great to see the mom.
The mom! I love the mom!
The mom is here for $2 and says, Something important.
Best Windows 95
ME XP. You know, that was a natural progression. I'm going to tell you, I was one of the beta testers for Chicago, just so you know, because I was in IT at the time. Yeah. And I gave it a lot of feedback. I would say I threw a lot of curse words at Microsoft, and it did turn out the best, because once it got to the Chicago build, that's basically what the live 95 version was. So it was basically Chicago released for you. It went gold at that build. And it was very stable. It still had issues. Microsoft has never released anything that was ret to go. So, but ME was stumbling block. Look, I moved to NT, and then I moved everything that I controlled into NT. You know, by the time everybody got to 98, I was like, this is a bad idea. So, and then, yeah. So, and then every machine behind the wall was Linux, some build. I mean, you know, because really everything was just a file server process that would deliver what we needed it to. But you know, when you were looking at this back then, I think you're right, though. XP was a natural transition. It was the first non-stumble that we had on upgrades. So, for what it's worth, I think you're accurate, the mum. So
I hate Windows Vista, but I don't hate the mum. The mum, you're great. I love your cat avatar.
Vista was
awful.
Awful. They were trying to compete with Apple's new layered system, with Cocoa being the top layer, the GUI, with X. So when Mac OS came out with X, Windows they was struggling from that point forward. Everything at Microsoft. That's a whole different conversation, and there are no games involved. So we need to move on. And thank you, Mom.
Yes. So we got two final stories here in the pipeline, and Culture, I don't think you meant to, but you alluded to our next story about.
Oh, no, I didn't. I don't mean anything. I stumble upon things, but I arrive exactly when I am supposed to be there. So.
Hey, that's where it counts. Where it counts, my friend. And okay, we actually have some Halo news.
No,
not again. Not again.
I'm sorry, we're a little Xbox heavy today, but they can't stop putting their theoretical finger on the theoretical stove and theoretically burning the hearts of all gamers everywhere. This comes to us from Twisted Voxel, so thank you very much. The article states, Halo Studios leak suggests live service Halo game and Halo Combat Evolved remake reveal expected next week. So this is some very recent news, folks. So dare we say some breaking news. A recent leak from well-known YouTuber Rebs Gaming has steered excitement across the Halo community, hinting at several new projects from Halo Studios. According to the content creator, the developer is preparing to reveal at least one major Halo project during the Halo World Championship scheduled for October 24th. I hope it's as cool as like the Nintendo competition and like the Wizard. Like, I hope it's like that and they have like a big grand reveal at the end. The event's official program lists a project update at 4:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, followed by a project deep dive an hour later. So that would fall on a 24th. That's a Friday. So they're not trying to compete against our time slot. Haha, they're too afraid of us. This timeline has fueled speculation that fans are on the verge of witnessing the dawn of a new era for the Halo franchise. I know a lot of people would be really excited about that. Halo Studios community manager Uni Shek further teased the reveal, stating on X, formerly Twitter, excited to share more about one of the projects we've been working on. Rebs Gaming latest report expands upon his earlier claims regarding a Halo Combat Evolved remake and an unannounced multiplayer title. Now, this gets even more interesting here, because there's also some speculation going on here that it might be borrowing from some other games, such as the live service modules that a la their Fortnite and such. And before I continue on the article, Kevin, what do you think about the idea of a live service Halo game? Does that tickle your fancy? Do you feel tickled?
I feel like I want to leave. Did you say era or error? Because we're talking about Halo. I
Yeah.
don't want this. I get it. I'm an old man, yelling at the sky. I just want a single player experience. I don't want to have to play online. I don't like people. I mean, I like people, but I don't like to have to be forced to play with people. Like you gave me all I've ever wanted, and Nintendo 64 seems to be the only system that got it right. The only problem is that they didn't make a stupid Turtles game. Give me 4 freaking ports for 4 freaking controllers, and let me have fun with my actual friends. Stop making me log online and play with a bunch of people I don't know. Just give me a nice long single player campaign. If you have to give me some DLC because you were too lazy to finish the game on time, fine. But stop it. Stop making me do things I don't want to do. Especially for a game that hasn't been good in 20 years, like Halo.
Yeah, I could agree more on culture. Before I give you the word, let me give a little more information, some context, what we're looking at here. Additional confirmation came from Halo Leaks, another insider known for accurate reports on the series. According to Revs Gaming, Halo Leaks not only validated the Comet Evolved remake details, but also shared confidence in their own sources. The further mentioned that a new multiplayer project is in development, separate from the remake. Revs explained that this multiplayer game is designed as a live service title. Big surprise there. What company wants that these days? Drawing comparisons to Fortnite's long-term update model. However, they clarified that no details suggest it will be a battle royale, leaving its specific gameplay direction open to speculation. Culture, what's your speculation on this? Do you think it's speculating that's going to suck? Oh, sorry, that's my opinion. Go ahead.
I think we need to just keep rolling. And I think we need to pay very close attention to the fact that, as Kevin stated, Halo hasn't been good in a while. They really did kind of abandon the formula that worked with Master Chief. And they didn't even lean into the comedy greatness of a Red versus Blue. Yeah.
Yes!
Which was still one of the greatest things. I have a signed copy of the original 2 seasons of Red versus Blue from the Machinima creators themselves.
Why is this man so cool? How did I get this man on my panel? He's amazing.
I was an enormous fan, right? And I watched those, like I put it on repeat on the DVD player. It was so great. But and then I digitally transferred all my stuff singularly. It did get a little wonky towards the end, but at that point they were going through massive internal struggles over there at Rooster Teeth.
The finale was good though. Story. The finale was pretty entertaining.
Yeah. But I'm just gonna say this. That's also added to the greatness of Halo. And then when Halo was no longer great, you no longer had Red versus Blue. And, Rooster Teeth recently fell apart in the last 6 years since I started doing this. And that kind of was the beginning of the end for a lot of the very early products that kind of introduced people to alternative ways to appreciate media, such as anime, manga, and many other things. So it kind of feels like something's dying in this. Because I don't think this is going to be very popular. Like Kevin Apollo, I think nobody wants to talk to people anymore. I like people in my audience. I have great audience. They show up wherever I go, which is amazing. But do you know what doesn't show up wherever I go? Good things, unfortunately. Because oftentimes I go to a theater, not a good thing. Sometimes I get a video game, not a good thing. I am getting tired of not a good things. And this isn't a good thing. If you're going to put this on an online basis, you're basically going to try to capitalize on skins, guns, and other garbage that isn't going to add to your game experience. And I think a lot of people are going to look at this and go, it's a cash grab, and it's not a very good one.
I couldn't say it better myself, honestly. Like, they have big shoes, and I feel like Halo went down the moment, like, when Halo stopped being cohesive, sort of like family group, or like a group of like-minded people that had such passion for it and became more of the product of Microsoft, I think something was lost. And fortunately, I feel like Halo is a casualty. The beauty though is that like take the red versus blue people. I still follow some of those people now. In their journeys, post Rooster Teeth, and they've been finding fun ways to take their life. Like they have a really good podcast out there. I do recommend checking out. And I'm hoping a lot of the developers, who are from these original Bungie teams, like they hopefully find some good work to win the hearts again, because it just seems like with this Halo news, so lackluster from the community. And you have to think, a franchise starts with its fan base, and if it can't deliver, it can't deliver. But hey, there's a big announcement on the way. So if this is true, once we get more information, maybe this could be a Halo renaissance. If it is, we'll talk about it here on That Game Place. Culture, I'm going to get the last story ready, but before that, we were talking a bit about community, and I think there's a great community of people here whose voices need to be heard. Am I wrong?
Sure. And that would include many of the wonderful people that have been here since the beginning, but we had a newcomer. Extreme Meme showed up. It's great to see.
Hello, Extreme Meme.
And we had Doge show up. Look at this.
Hello, Doge.
Yeah, I just want, look, I don't think we all honestly believe that they would be able to go back in time to play older games, but I think it would be good. Look, if you want to have and continue to maintain your fan base, giving them access to their old library while you try to build a new one on a console that was underdeveloped and under offered in the gaming area, I think backward compatibility is necessary. And if you don't think that, you shouldn't be in gaming. I'm sorry. We got a super duper chat from the amazing Chris.
Hey,
Dickerson
thank you, Chris.
for another $5, saying at this point Microsoft is playing Weekend at Bernie's with the Master Chef's corpse. I think that's true. Or it's the Master Chief's corpse. But I think that's absolutely true. I think Chris nailed it here. I think it's 100% accurate. And I think that I look at what's happened to Halo, and I look at what's happened to Microsoft, both of which are compromised pieces of garbage. And I think we're all tired of it.
But you know what's not garbage? Chris Dickerson. This man's amazing, and thank you for the $5 super.
He truly is.
We must have some good money in the arcade cabinet tonight, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, we have almost enough money to buy Kevin's pizza.
What type do you want, Kevin? Do you want like a sausage? Do you want pepperoni, cheese in the crust?
By the way, he's showing off now. You see his image right there? He's jacked. Ladies, that is a ripped human. I'm just going to say.
We were talking about, DOA and the fighting characters and all that. I feel like Kevin could actually be in one of those games. I think he's ripped enough to be a fictional character.
Look, and not only that, I know he's dangerous because of his previous careers. Plus, he's just a big man. I mean, he's a big man. And at least I can make him laugh. So he's one of my favorite people on the planet, guys. If you're not checking out,
I'm very glad he is my ally because he would scare me.
He's my friend. I'm very glad. But at the same time, I'm also very happy because he is launching a new channel, the House of Apollo. Please check that out. Do check out Nolan's channel. I'm inserting a commercial here because Nolan is fantastic. And check out my friend Lou. Lou's got a new Patreon. You gotta go and see. Lou's Views is amazing. Go check it out. Please help. I feel like I'm in Fifth Element.
Anyway. Julia, you're in the chat. If you could find the link for Lou's Patreon, please link it in there so that people can check it out. It's worth your time, and the man he's worth your time, energy, and money. Am I wrong on that, Culture?
Indeed, yes. Yeah. And he's a good person to boot. I may have just found my forever home in Tennessee, so we'll see.
Woo! We'll see. All right, we're all about wins here.
That's right. And I just want to say this about that. Kevin's mic is better. Kevin has a cool new mic. It worked very well in his previous location, but then he decided to go home and connect it.
I don't know what I did.
But you know,
Kevin,
you and your
speaking of
family, they're so important.
Kevin, speaking of your tech, before we get to the last story here, do you have your new theme song ready to go? Perhaps for the end of the
can we
stream,
play
or is
that? Can we play that video?
Yes, we'll play it after our last story.
There you go.
We'll do as one of the things to promote the end.
Share it as a video file. It'll run smoother.
Okay, hold on one sec. Let
Yeah.
me. I got to plug.
All right. To those of you out there, we have one last story for you this evening, which we've gone longer than we expected, but that's to be expected. And I have to tell you, every story tonight's been golden because you all were here. And for those of you watching on the replay, thank you. Let us know what you thought. And on that note, Nolan, I return the show to you, sir.
Thank you, sir. And thank you, Juliet, for plugging Lou on there. We appreciate that. But it's time. So this whole show, everybody, we've had so much sad news, you know, economic people passing, Nintendo being oblivious to the market, and Xbox doing every stupid thing in the book. It's been kind of a depressing show in some way, but y'all aren't depressing. And I thought, let's get off a good note of some actual happy news. So let's get into this thing. Coming at you from The Guardian of all places, headline states, "Happy birthday to the NES, companion to millions of Nintendo childhoods." But it's not just a birthday, it's a very special birthday for the Nintendo. 40 years ago today, the Nintendo Entertainment System was released in the US, and a generation of kids were sucked into video games for life. And this isn't like that bad suck, you know, where the kids say, "You suck." No, like, this isn't the modern industry. We mean in a good way. Like, they were sucked into a lifetime of memories. The Nintendo Entertainment System was released in the United States on October 18th of 1985, about a year after I was born. So this is from the writer's perspective. And 40 years ago today, it's as if the company sensed that a sucker who'd spent thousands of dollars on plastic toys and electronic games had just entered the world. Actually, it's as if the company had sensed that an entire generation of fools like me were about to enter the world, which is true. That was the time to strike. We were about to be drained of every dollar we received for birthdays, Christmases, and all those times our dad didn't want us to tell our mom about something. Maybe that last one was just me. Despite being slightly lower than the NES in honor, I'm only now forced to face as I write this. It felt like the console had always existed in my life. I don't have many memories from my baby years because I was too busy learning how to use my hands and eyes. But as far back as I can actually remember, Nintendo was a word synonymous with video games. Friends would ask if you had Nintendo, no A at your house, in the same way they might ask if you had a Coca-Cola in the fridge. And this wonderful gentleman here goes on to give his personal experiences with what's going on. And you can definitely check out the article over at The Guardian if you want to hear more of his perspective. But what I wanted to take some time to go is because the big matter here, the NES has now turned officially 40. And I thought this would be a great time for having our wonderful Kevin and Culture here. I wanted to ask you guys about some of your perspective on Nintendo memories here as we wrap things up. So, Culture, do you remember your first memory of like how you got an NES? Was it like during Christmas? Was it after the fact? Like, how did you first get exposed to the Nintendo Entertainment System way back when?
Anything that was console oriented was a either a birthday or a Christmas gift, right? I mean, Santa would show up with awesome tech. I'm serious. So VIC-20, Commodore 64, Nintendo, Atari. I mean, all that stuff showed up when the big guy in the red suit, who's a jolly old elf, by the way, actually rolled through the door because, you know, there was no chimney at that particular house. So, you know, and it looked weird, like him coming down the drain pipe in the bathroom. That was odd. But I'll just tell you, that's how I got my first glimpse at a Nintendo. And it was shared. My siblings and I enjoyed it. My youngest brother, youngest sister, myself, it was all incroyable, if you want to use disgusting French to describe it. But yeah, I do remember it. And look, that was the moment. Those were the moments that launched the electronic age and everything we have now. Because if you don't think that video games, you know, and the desire to build your own and all that other stuff didn't launch a bunch of big brains into a particular direction to entertain, you're wrong. We would not have this big, beautiful world without video games, or we wouldn't have incredible fighter pilots. So there's that.
Kevin, what was your first exposure to the Nintendo? Like, did you get it one Christmas or anything like that as well? Like, what's your perspective here?
No, I went to an uncle's house, and he had it, and they were playing. I think he was playing Mike Tyson's Punch Out. Oh, sorry, no, it was Mario Brothers, and they had gotten into the into the later levels where things start getting really difficult. I thought it was the most incredible thing I'd ever seen, because we were still using the Atari. We were still making the Atari work at that point. So the closest thing I'd ever seen to seeing something that looked that great was playing the Smurfs on the ColecoVision. I'm watching Mario Brothers. I'm like, this is incredible. And like other 80s kids, if you were going to get something big, it generally had to be Christmas or like a milestone birthday.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, we were nowhere near this. I'm like, I just needed this thing. And my dad came up to pick us up, and he sat down and watched him play. And then I think like 3 weeks later, I went to my grandparents' house for the weekend. And when we came back, there was a Nintendo in the house.
Woo!
Wow.
That's a big deal. Let me just say this. That was my household to a T. Kevin, you just described things. Fortunately, the fact that I made it through school each year was a milestone. So that was good.
Well, I'm going to give
You're not
my
expelled.
perspective.
Sweet. Okay, sorry.
Well, speaking of being expelled, I'm going to give my perspective now, and I'm always the certified kid of the panel here. But I remember, speaking of kid, I remember when I was a kid, I went over to these people's house, and I do not, for the life of me, remember who these people were, if there was any connection, if it was from a parent's friend, or if I was related to them. Honestly, I do not remember the connection. But I remember the Nintendo, baby, and that's why I'm here today. So I go, and even though this was quite a few years after the facts, I believe her family had a Nintendo, and we go to play it on like a little CRT TV with each other. And I distinctly remember it because it was funny, because we were playing, I think it was Punch Out, and the girl was trying to use the NES zapper to shoot at the target, like going after Mike Tyson or something like that. Like, and they're like, oh wait, we got to use these controllers. So that was some pure craziness here. It was many years later, because my first exposure with Nintendo came 8 years later with like the GameCube, Game Boy, yada yada yada. I first got my hands on an original Nintendo. Was any of y'all ever been to the flea market, especially like 15 years ago, when you could get like a Nintendo 64 for like 30, 50 bucks, before, during the lockdowns where the Nintendo tax really kicked in? Like, it was a good time for me to be getting into stuff. You could actually get some pretty decent finds and really connect with people who had really, grown up with that and became big collectors on a lot of the old school Nintendo stuff. And I think it's so cool because, we look at a lot of franchises, that have been around for so long, like 40 years. And unfortunately, usually not even by the original quality, just from, the nature of a lot of like the corporate machine. A lot of things that were great back then, just got so overplayed or weren't true to the source material that the brand just died. Nintendo, I love that I can play like a modern Nintendo game and they're still referencing some of these old NES versions of games, but it doesn't feel cheap. It feels like they're honoring history because they have just such an archive to pick from that it's always cool that they never forget their roots, but it doesn't feel like we only just get Nintendo. It's evolved and it's had a lot of things. And the nice thing about these games is they age pretty well. Like, and there's a lot of fun factor to them. I still love playing the first Super Mario Brothers.
And see, know that because we all come back to it, right? We all go looking for the memes and everything else out there. Those are always part of a build in a cabinet that you have at your house or any of the other things that we all love. Look, I mean, it all started kind of there for people, like with it, whether or not it's Atari 2600 or the first one, whether it's the NES or any of the other things. And everybody, when you get one of those preloaded game console things that are like a representation of like a matchstick, I guess now they're really small, but it had all the games of your childhood in it. I mean, that's like an amazing thing to get for a Christmas present, because you can plug it into a TV and be like, this is amazing. I'm playing all this old stuff. And I love emulation. I don't care what anybody says. It's one of the reasons why I might throw up a middle finger at Nintendo every once in a while. But dude, who didn't have a Coleco? Who didn't have an Intellivision and an Intellivision 2? Who didn't have some of these things that are lost to history? See, he even has things that were lost to history. And I look, these are parts of our lives. So the fact that people are trying to keep them alive and talk about them and recognize what they meant, that's a good thing.
So my closing question for you gentlemen, each of you, what was your go-to NES game? What was the one that won your heart? I'll start with you, Culture.
What was the one game?
Like, what was the game, like your favorite NES game, or what was the game you feel like you played the most?
The original, just the original console.
Yeah, just the original NES. Any NES game. And if you need
the original Mario's game. I mean, I was such a freak at that point. Like, I was the kid with a pocket full of quarters after not eating lunch, so I took my lunch money to the arcade with me. I rode my bike the quarter of a mile to the arcade, and it was in the back of a laundromat. They released out the extra space behind it, and there was a bike rack, and it was full. Like, if you got a chance to lock your bike into the actual rack, you were doing good. And it was, it's like I lived at the arcade to play everything that was in there. And the fact that I could do that at my house, oh man, I was living in the golden age. It was the golden age. Eventually, I had to ride a little farther to the arcade because I wanted to play Cyberball, which came along much later. But I would say that my game was definitely the Mario Brothers games right away. That was it, and it's all it took for me to be in love. And of course, left, right, B A, select, start.
Mm-hmm. Good man. I'm so proud of that. Kevin, what about you? What about the Apollo household? What was your go-to game?
Oh my gosh, Wizards and Warriors was a mainstay for me. I love that game. Obviously Contra. I think Eric and I are still trying to break the record. We think once you put in the 100 lives code, two people can rip through the game in about, I think it's like 8.5 minutes.
You can get through it very
lives
fast.
Code. I got stuck with the 30 live code. What game was I playing?
And I think you know what, as much as it drove me crazy, Top Gun. My dad loved to play that game.
Did you do better, Kevin, at landing the plane than the angry video game nerd? Please tell me that you did a little better on that.
Yes, I could land on the aircraft carrier. The thing I really struggled with was refueling in the air. I don't know why. It was just a pain in the butt to do. But generally, I got pretty good at landing on the aircraft carrier.
There you go.
All right. Well, we'll call it a wrap, but want to give a huge thank you to the original Nintendo, because that played a big part of why so many people are connected here today and can connect on such amazing things. And these games age so well that, honestly, you can show them. I was well after the market, and I love it. My favorite game was probably either the OG Mario or Mario 3. Like, those games age like fine wine, and I love a bit of them. And also remember, if you're playing Mario 1, hold down the A button after you lose all 3 of your lives, because you can start back at the beginning of the world. You don't have to start back from the beginning of the game, people. It doesn't have. You don't have to suffer. You don't suffer here on that game place, everybody. You don't. Oh my goodness. But yeah, thank you, Nintendo. And if we have some more news of their next system, well, we'll talk about it here on That Game Place.
By the way,
all right, before we start, what's up?
I just want to say, by the way, Nintendo, it's for breakfast now.
Oh, Nintendo cereal was awesome. Nintendo.
Nintendo, now you're playing with power.
You remember that right before the Power Glove came out, and you were like, "This thing sucks." Anyway, sorry.
But Freddy Krueger made it look awesome, though.
He did. It was pretty awesome, but he had blades. I didn't have
Deep
blades.
cut, yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Well,
Power.
All right, let's get to the amazing super chat from Doge here for $1, $2, in fact.
thank you,
Says,
Doge.
crazy that very few beloved NES series became AAA. Yeah, but again, we were talking the 8-bit and 16-bit era, and it's really hard to like do that with not quite story games. Like 2 guys running through the forest, like smoking everybody. I mean, that seems like Rambo the video game.
Rambo the video game was awesome. I was so sad when what's her name gets killed in the middle. But
it's very true.
Was awesome.
But I'm just telling you that look, I mean, we kind of had adaptations in film. I don't know that they could have done much more. But later on, we got great things like Mortal Kombat and other stuff. So just let's praise that. Speaking of which, Nolan.
Yes. All right. I think it's time to do some plugging to finish out the show here. And Culture, do you want to go first, or should we unleash this beast onto people? Are we ready to unveil this?
I'll go first. I'll go first, and then I'll unleash the beast because the beast is awesome. Okay, real quick.
All right.
You can find me on the Culture Casino channel. You can find me on this channel. You can find me on, Campione Reacts, which I'm actually going to be doing new content for. And you can find me on my new podcast on the Culture Casino channel called Thank You for Your Attention to This Matter. It's my politics show. Right now it's Tuesdays and Thursdays, and you might see it 5 days a week in the near future. Outside of that, I'm a guest host on a lot of things, including this show here on That Game Plays and many other places as well. And with that, we have to grab the super chat before we
Thank you, SFX Saber.
And SFX F314 Sabertooth Raptor for 5 more cash quarters for us. Says, got my NES from my grandfather for Christmas. Not sure if it works, as I have not fixed it up in years. Or fired it up in years, excuse me. Keep it as a sentimental item. Sadly, it glitches. Well, that's a sadness.
SFX.
But I tell you what, it's still worth firing up and cleaning out the inside. There are games.
It might be a connection issue, because the top loaders were built better than the VHS insert type thing. But go ahead.
Yeah, and the other thing about that is, believe it or not, there are companies out there that fix phones and stuff. Sometimes they do game consoles, so having them clean it out might do magic for you.
They might require you to let them play it for a little bit, though. That might be
that's actually true. We get an hour of playtime anyway. So, but really, the beast is in the house. It's known as Kevin Apollo, and the House of Apollo is on the way. So let's bring up the House of Apollo and promote this man's channel, which is the channel I'm looking forward to.
The House of Apollo, where the echoes of legends are all we follow. Turn it up, feast your eyes, feel the fever ignite. Glory to your house, we burn through the night. We burn through the night.
That was amazing.
It was incredible, and apparently I am the disposable man on the channel tonight. But that was great. I still love it, and I'm very much looking forward to it, Kevin. So,
Kevin, tell us about it.
It's going to be incredible.
Awesome.
Tell us all about it. Like, what did we just witness?
Oh, yeah. Oh, we're still live, aren't we? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we're still going. Tell the beautiful people about this amazing show.
We're going to talk about a little bit of everything. Obviously pop culture. Maybe we'll touch on a little bit of politics. But no matter what it's going to be fun. I think this week Martin Stone and I are going to film a Doctor Who video.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Grab Nolan and a couple other Simpsons super fans. I still want to do my
Hi.
tell me what Simpsons character is this awful Ted Cruz impression? Wrong answers only. That's something I really
Bort. It's Bort. The answer is Bort.
and then Trish and I are gonna get together and do Freddy Krueger's best moments.
Nice. We actually just recorded an episode about Freddy's greatest hits on the Lost Guys, so
Oh boy,
good timing there.
you better put a power glove on him. I'm just saying. But
Kevin,
I'm looking
so,
forward to
what
this.
is this.
Oh, go ahead.
What is the name of this YouTube channel? And can you also share about our night show where Culture Casino made me laugh so hard I almost died?
So the channel's The House of Apollo, but every Tuesday and Friday evening at 11 p.m. you can catch myself with Lauren Connor, and we do the Lauren and Apollo show, and we talk about the day's events and whatever happens to enter the consciousness of Culture Casino.
And you can find that show over on the WDW Pro channel.
Was it that bad? I felt like I was.
Love it. It is my favorite thing ever. Yeah, I just love it so much. It legitimately brings me super joy.
Super joy. Not just regular joy, but super joy. Unrelated to James Gunn's Superman with James Gunn.
You had to make that analogy. You were making me think of super chats. And that made me smile. I'm like, oh, the amazing people in our audience. But no, now I got to think about James Gunn.
All right. On that note, what do you got going, Nolan?
All right. Well, if you guys like, so I have a little bit of a gap going on right now between some productions. Need some time to kind of relay and start up some new productions, but there is already some music being developed for it behind the scenes. But you can find me over on my YouTube channel at Nolan Thunder for my series Lost in the Files,
which is
I
awesome.
talk about. Thank you very much. I talk about internet mysteries, the paranormal, but primarily video game mysteries. It's one of those in the style of like a UFO show you see on History Channel. I present it as a host. You got like a 80s synthesizer, custom-made soundtrack in the background. And even if you're not into games, I like to teach you a little bit about the mysteries that happen. I just did a video on apparently an experimental AI that caused seizures and strokes to its playtesters. It's a mix of B-movie horror, documentary, and comedy. There's a little something for everybody. So even if you're not a gamer, you know, it's a good time. The tone is around that of Batman, the animated series. So the kids can still watch, but you know what? It's a lot of things for the older audience in there. So I hope you enjoy that sort of thing, and you can check me out. Like I said, the show's called Lost in the Files. I have a whole playlist on my channel at Nolan Thunder. Oh my gosh, that was the longest plug in the world. But anyways, you know what wasn't the longest thing in the world? Spending time with this gentleman. These guys are a great highlight of my week, and you all in the audience are a huge highlight as well. We appreciate every single one of you with the super. We always want to make sure your questions are answered and your takes. Once again, we want to say thank you to everyone who showed up. Our mods, Julia, I know you're doing a lot of work out there going on. Want to give once again big respect for Itagaki. Rest in peace, kind sir. Thank you for everything you did to my life, and thank you for all of you, what you do to all of ours. We will be back the next Saturday at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time for that Gameplays Live. In the meantime, check out a lot of our work over at That Park Place, and please check out Geeks and Gamers. We just had the big merge, and it's going to mean a lot more good stuff is coming to this channel with a lot of the faces you love. So please check it out. And as we like to say around here, don't forget to get your game on!